Welcome to the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club, your number one stop for spooky reviews of terrifying stories, arcs, or volumes that us or yourselves choose. Find us live every Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and the replay on all podcast networks. Sharpen your fangs and get ready to hunt, as it's time to join the herd. But first, please put your paws together for your hosts, Shane, Phil, and Scott.
Good evening, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Well, I say children, but children stay away, because we continue on with our horror stories this one. And this week's turn is, bear with me, Dceased from 2019, written by Tom Taylor and art by Trevor Herdine, is pronounced.
Yeah.
I'm joined this evening, of course, by my usual cohorts. I have Shane.
Hoi hoi.
And Scott.
Shumai, everyone. How you doing? Thanks for joining.
Of course, I'm your host for this evening, and my name is Phil. Okay, so just want to get through some more of the formalities, really. Just let you know there is affiliate links down below for this book. If you haven't picked it up and you like what we are saying about this book, check out below, click on the link, buy the book. Any kind of monies earned will be given back to you in full. So please click that link. And just remind folks as well, at the end of this show, we are going to be doing the herd's choice. So get your kind of your thinking caps on, think of the book you want us to read, and at the end of the show, we'll do that little spinny wheel thing, and we'll select your book, and there may be some prizes going your way, but we can talk about that later on. We'll get into this week's book first, all right? But just before that, I will check who is with us this evening. So we have Tyler from TB Collects. What's up, nerds? Liam, the Funky Gibbons. Heidi Ho. Blue Sonic is here this evening. Hey, everyone. And we have Connie. How goes it? And I think that's everyone. They're all talking amongst themselves in the chat, which of course is great. All right. So this is my pick, Dceased. And of course, I'm the host, so I'll go ahead with the synopsis. All right. And I've actually been a little bit professional and written my own little synopsis. I'm going to read from this. So I've written it all myself, word for word, all myself. All right.
www.wikipedia.com.
Listen. There's no plagiarism here. It's completely on my own words, right? So, Dceased highlights the dangers of social media. It starts off with perhaps the Justice League's finest hour, but it was their last together. A week-long battle fending off an invasion of Darkseid and his power demons. But we don't see any of that. Instead, the story kicks off with the aftermath of Darkseid's plan all along. The invasion was a smokescreen. As Darkseid retreats, Cyborg is taken and held in Apocalypse. Darkseid already possesses half of the anti-life equation, and the other half is contained within Cyborg. So fusing the equations together with a piece of death, the equation becomes corrupted. Cyborg is returned to Earth, and the corrupted anti-life equation uploads to the internet, and it began to spread like a techno-organic virus, bridging the digital divide to the biological, infecting the minds of those who look at their screens, turning them into the anti-living. Not zombies. They're not consumed by hunger. They're not feeding. They're stealing life. They're spreading death. They are the anti-living. So millions of lives lost, including that of some of our most loved heroes. We see those who remain struggle to contain this spread. Sacrifices are made, and the people are left with no choice but to abandon the planet to survive. I try to be professional there and give a good spiel. How was that?
I feel
really
spieled.
good.
Spiel.
Well done.
Just
Wow.
a few other folks here have popped into the chat. So we have Bethany C. I love your boob boppers, Shane. There
Thank
we go.
you.
We get Glenn 2K12 in the house. Says, hey, everyone.
Hey, bud.
And this has popped up, and I know what Dean talks about. And speaking of Dean, there is Dean. What's up,
Hey,
nerds?
Dean.
Hope you're all well. Welcome, Dean.
Thank you for joining.
And I think that's all. Yeah, so that's what we're reading this week. And to start us off, am I going this way, Shane?
Wherever you want. You want me to
Go
start
on.
you off?
He missed last week, so you might as well give him something to do.
Yeah, you better talk more this week to make
Yeah.
up for last week. So it's all yours.
Initial thoughts after reading this are literally like, oh my god, what, and what? Like every issue, like the end of every issue, you're like, no, what? This book
Yeah.
is just the things that happen are ridiculously insane. You have no idea who's safe, who's gonna die. Like literally, no one is safe, and that for me is such a plus in a book, because you always think you read a Batman book, Batman's going to be fine. You read a Justice League book, you know the Justice League are going to be fine. So when you pick this up, you're like, all right, a few of them are going to die, but the Trinity's going to survive. You know, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, nothing's going to happen to those three. And then you get to the end of issue 1, and you're like, okay, all bets are off. And yeah, fantastic. I absolutely love that. No holds barred. Anything can happen universe where the creator just gets to go nuts and just do whatever the hell they want, and to do that so well with such a coherent story as well. Like this picks up after the New 52's battle, like the first 5-6 issues of New 52 Justice League. So it's like an alternate universe from that point on. I absolutely loved it.
Like you said about like the creator being able to do what they want, and it says Tom Taylor's written this, and you know currently he's releasing Dark Ages, which again is another like alternate universe kind of thing, and he's really demonstrating how well he can create a story where he is just told just go for it. I mean, forget about the continuity, just do what you want, just give us, you know, a story that you think is good. And yeah, I mean, no spoilers, but he's done fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's good at it. He did Injustice, so you know when you give him the universe and he runs with it,
yeah,
he can just do wonders.
And the fact that he's not afraid to kill like the main characters, like that, obviously he's given a complete free reign. Like kill who you want, because it adds to the story. Like he's not just killing people just for the sake of it. It almost adds to the story. It's not just like willy-nilly, I'll kill the best ones.
Yeah,
we're left with all these B-listers. It's like
he kind of weaves the story around the death of these people. I mean, like, did Wonder Woman get turned? I think, was she the only one that didn't, or did she? And I'm just forgetting it.
She
did.
She did.
Yeah. She did.
She had to take out Soups.
Oh yeah.
And by attempting to do that, of course, Superman just stuck his fist through her gut and turned her.
So all of them are dead. All of the Justice League, you know, you got Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Then you've got like Green Lantern, Flash, Cyborg. They're like the big ones, aren't they? And they're all just wiped out. And it was surprising. Like, I mean, you know, obviously you're going to get a bit of a spoiler with the front cover. You're like, okay, Batman's a bit of a zombie. Maybe he's going to go. So, you know, that happens pretty early on. But then everything else after that, you are in a kind of suspense. You are in, you know, you are going, ooh, you know, personally, you know, everyone knows my favorite character is the Flash. So I'm reading this going, is the Flash gonna, you know, get turned into a zombie? Will he keep away? And I bet it's the same for you, Shane, with Wonder Woman. What will happen to Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn as well? I mean, you know, it was just like, you just had no idea who was going to get changed, if anyone was going to die, like what was going to happen. And if they did survive, how? And it's just fantastic.
It felt so good to have that feeling. I've never had that feeling in a comic book. Even like when they used to kill characters, like for a few issues, you never had the feeling to the build-up where you ever thought that they weren't safe. But every issue of this, you don't feel like anyone is safe at all. It's fantastic to have that feeling where anything can happen to people that you've known for 20 odd years in comics. You know, it's great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Folks, just want to catch up with some people who've jumped in the chat before I miss them. We have Tom from This Month of Movies, sent evening all.
Yeah, but
Chris from Off My Shelves sent hello. And there was somebody else, I believe. Maybe not. If I've missed you, I do apologize. I don't see you. But yeah, I mean, this book, I mean, like they say, the fact that they could do anything with it. Like if you think about it, it's actually a simple story. Like there's no world building. It's just here's a virus that could destroy everything. It's just like world destroying. There we go. There's nothing really like he needs to do. He has all these characters already made up. This is what they do, and he's just do what you want with them. But the fact that like some of the things actually in continuity have been incorporated in this, likes of Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, and obviously wanting to kill Mr. J because he tortures her and he needs to Harley Quinn needs to get rid of the Joker and things like that. They've incorporated all that together in this, this kind of insane kind of storyline.
It is just you just have no idea what's going to happen. No idea what's going to happen.
But on top of like all the craziness and all the death and stuff, you then have like these really heartfelt moments, like after issue 1 when like Batman dies, but then issue 2 starts and you have Alfred in the Batcave with like the bodies of the Robins. And it's like, oh my god.
This is what Connie is saying. Surprisingly emotional. It really was, and it's things like Alfred. There was even a scene with one of the pages, I think, when he knew he had to shoot Batman, and you can see his head's kind of dropped. Like he knows he has to do it. He has to be the bigger man. Like he's emotional, but he needs to hold it all together because he needs to do it. But you just tell that one little moment of weakness that he had to do it. I loved that.
I think one of the things that I was really enjoying, and I'm trying to kind of steer us to the art part now, is the kind of character designs of each of the characters that were turned into zombies. Just like it's a little things you expect a little bit of a zombie look, but I think the one that always stuck with me was Nightwing. He was one of the first ones we see, isn't it? And he's kind of got that kind of massive like cut across his head like that, and then his face is all just battered, and it's just I think the way they kind of explained it, it wasn't a zombie thing. It was they were clawing at themselves to get the equation out of their head. But I think like part of me, like, yes, I had the suspense of waiting for a character to be turned or not, but then I was also going, ooh, I kind of wonder what this character will look like when they're turned, and I really like that aspect, the character designs and all of that. And I bet Trevor Hairsine had a good time with that as well.
That's the impression I got. The fact that he just was given like free rein, just kind of draw, just think zombies, think blood, think open wounds and mangled teeth. Just do it all. Do what you want. Like I doubt anyone checked his art. I doubt even he kind of went over it again. He just kind of done it, put it on the page. Loads of blood, loads of gore, loads of disgusting kind of frothing of the mouth. Yeah, it was great.
It was awesome.
I do want to catch up with some comments here because they are running away from me. Liam is saying here, another book he really enjoyed. We have smashed it, lads, for these horror month choices. We've smashed it. Glenn said he read 2 parts one night. The next night he did all the other 4. He couldn't put it down. Yeah, it grips you the whole way through.
Agreed.
Yeah. Connie says, I wouldn't say I could 100% get into this because I don't really know the characters all that well, but Tom Taylor does high intensity, high emotion really well. Very well written.
On top of that, she did say further up, like towards the start of the video, that this is the first ever DC book she's read. Not written.
Oh wow!
Well done.
Written, well done. Yeah.
what a good one to jump in
read.
on.
I know, it's amazing.
Blue Sonic is saying this was a page turner, such a great story from start to finish. It was a bit. Connie saying it was the bit for me when all the Kents were hugging in their grief about Jonathan, and then all that Damon had to hug was Alfred. It was so sad. Oh, it was. Oh, there are so many emotional moments throughout this book.
Yeah, 100%. The art was pretty consistent all the way through, apart from that one bit on issue 1 where they're on Apocalypse and it just gets really cartoony.
Yeah,
just for a few pages while they're all there. Why couldn't they?
That's whenever Cyborg's being held down and they're kind of getting the equation off him, and it does look really cartoony, and it is off-putting to the point like it is different.
Yeah, why?
But was it meant to be like Fourth World, like Jack Kirby style, because he created Apocalypse? I don't know. It was really weird.
Quite jarring.
At the start of Yeah, and then as soon as he gets back to Earth, it goes back to normal art.
The rest of the book, the rest of the whole series is the same, apart from these like 3 or 4 pages.
Maybe he forgot to draw that page, and someone had to like quickly do it for him later down the line.
Like, quick, someone do this. They forgot to do that bit, or a late addition to the whole thing.
Yeah, it was just really weird.
Just one other person has jumped into the chat here. Dominic from the Comic Book Report. He said, "Oh man, I'm a little late, but I'm here. Good man, you are here." He didn't get around to reading this. Just here for the good times. That's what we're here for. But
that's part of the good times. You've got to read the book to have. You'll have more good times if you read the book.
Yeah.
It's like showing up to a book club just for the wine.
You don't do that?
I don't have any wine.
So you see whiskey where I come from?
Oh yeah, good man.
Just a few comments I did miss there. Sorry, Tyler had said it was so refreshing to read a DC story where anything can happen and not worry about any other titles or what's happening in crossovers.
Yeah,
I think that's the main thing in this book. Like, they didn't have to worry about other books tying in, other storylines. Like, well, what do I kill this character? What happens to their book? It didn't matter. Complete free reign. Do what you want. Fantastic. The art style, like we were saying before, that is a little bit jarring, those 2 pages, but there was actually 3 artists contributed to this. I don't know. There was Trevor Herstein, Stefano Guardiano, and
he was the color.
He was the inker, wasn't he? And then there was James Harron, who I don't know who that is, but he was also contributed to something in the first issue. So
he must have done the Apocalypse page there.
That's what I was thinking. He must have done that because I think Stefano is the inker, because Trevor Herstein just does pencils. So those few pages were what I'm gathering is James Harron, but I don't understand because it was the first issue. You can't, and like the first 3 or 4 pages, you can't have been behind already. You know, like starting this brand new book, I'm behind. So you get someone to jump in for me.
Unless they felt they needed like a little bit of backstory rather than just having the scene with Darkseid and then the scene where Cyborg comes back to Earth. Maybe they felt they needed a little bit of explaining for that. So
added in after.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So I've got it here. So for issue 1, you've got Trevor Herstein and Stefano Gaudiano. They did pages 1 to 6, and then 15 to 26, and then the pages 7 to 14 was done by James Harron.
There we go. So that's the Cyborg pages, isn't it?
Yeah. So those are the Cyborg pages, which is really strange.
They must have been put in after editing. They must have decided they needed a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. That's what it sounds like.
Triple G Comics have jumped in here since sorry I'm late.
No problem.
Good to have you, pal. Do you want to go on to the art pages or anything else you want to add about the art?
Yeah, great. Go ahead.
Okay. I will start with. See, the funny thing is, we all kind of picked the same pages. The same page, sorry. And I really wanted to show this one off, but then Scott claimed it. So I'm going to show that one last. I actually think it is my best page. So we'll go for my second best page. There we go. There's 2 things I liked about this. It's obviously the page before this. So Aquaman appears with on the Kraken about to take out Themyscira, I think, wasn't it? They were tagging.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? Yeah. Obviously he's a zombie, or sorry, he's an anti-living. And Mira's obviously still calls him Arthur in the page beforehand. You can tell she obviously that's her Arthur, but there's no choice, you have to kill him. And Green Arrow from, I think it says there, fired an arrow 1/2 a mile through raging winds into the brain of an undead king of the sea. And the reason why I love this part, because at the very start of the series, Batman had obviously had a plan to track Cyborg and a plan to track Superman, and they were talking about the morality of this, how like Batman shouldn't have these plans to take us all down, but there wasn't a plan for Green Arrow because Batman also didn't think he could take down like the world or whatever. So shoots that arrow and then just a big F you, Batman. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
it's a great page.
It was really funny. I mean, you know, I think Green Arrow actually brought the comedy to this story.
Yeah,
I felt like he was given these like quirky, quippy one-liners, and I actually enjoyed it when he was on. I mean, I've read other stories with him in, and I found him really serious and maybe a bit arrogant. But in this one, I thought he was very pleasant to read, and I actually looked forward to what he would say next.
Yeah, With that page as well, the second panel, I love the shadow of him just falling off the Kraken.
Yeah, oh yeah,
The
yeah,
silhouette
cool.
of that is so cool.
Yeah, so great.
That's, I mean, even like the heartbreak in Mira's eyes as well. It's like, because he is dead now. Like, he was dead before, but kind of maybe thought there was some sort of hope. But no,
he's double dead.
Now he's mega dead.
So yeah, that was my page, and we shall now move on to Shane's.
This was I picked this page because this was the biggest shock, because you never ever think Batman's going to lose a fight, do you? You know, he's always got a plan for everything. So when he's like fighting the Robins and Batgirl and stuff, you're like, well, he's going to get out of it. It's Batman. Then you turn the page and he just gets chomped on, and you're like, just a stunned silence at the end of issue 1. And I was like, yeah. And it's just such a good page with like his hand ripping through his chest while he's chewing on his neck. And I
think what was like, this was an amazing page, but what was even cooler, like after this in the next issue, was when you found out that Batman had put himself into Mr. Freeze's costume to kind of slow the infection and to kind of, you know, send some communications out, do a bit more research or analysis or whatever. And, you know, so he's still fighting the fight, you know what I mean, whilst being bitten and being turned. And I think it's just brilliant.
That open wound on Nightwing's head, it just like, you could feel like the pain yourself almost. It's like it's right there, it's right in front of your face. It's like, oof, that's harsh. But see, the idea that Batman died in the first issue, I kind of think he had to kill Batman in the early on, because if Batman survived, I think this will be over.
He'd have solved the whole thing.
Yeah, it would have been over quicker, you know. I just think he would have come to.
I think that's the moment I realized that anything can happen in the book. Like if you're willing to kill Batman off, then no one's safe. It's as simple as that. You know, when you're given a DC title and the first like major, you kill Batman, and you can do whatever you want then, and I'm going to be along for the ride.
It was definitely gripping as a first issue. You know, definitely shock factor. Yeah, like you said, you don't expect the big ones to die, and they're just getting picked off one by one, basically one per issue, pretty much, isn't it? And it was just great to see.
And we'll see this almost twice over, getting picked off one by one. In this next page, this is Scott's pick, but again, this is something I was going to pick. I think Shane, I mentioned he was too.
I got there quicker, like a flash.
This is the death of essentially 2 characters, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
like the death of one, definitely, and the start of the death of the other.
Yeah, so the Flash gets turned by Martian Manhunter because he just snuck in, didn't he, to the Fortress of Solitude, and as soon as he gets turned, he just starts zooming around the planet at the speed of light and just starts biting and turning everyone else that he can find. And Superman's only way to stop him was to not catch him up, because he knew he couldn't catch him up, but it was to meet him head on. So he kind of, they kind of round the planet, head on, straight through him. But what I like about that, you know, whilst you're watching Flash explode, Superman looks absolutely gutted. You know, he just looks so like bummed out and sad, and just he's lost a friend. And then in the bottom panel there, you see that 2 of Flash's fingers are now inside Superman's stomach. So now Superman's also infected. So a lot is happening in this page, but I just love the impact on that, and it's absolutely fantastic.
That's the kind of anguish on Soup's face. You're right, because before this he still believed that these people could be saved. There's obviously some way to bring them back, but in that moment he had no choice. Like Flash he's too fast. He could destroy the whole world in minutes. He had to do what he did, and that's why you see the anguish on his face. But yeah, there's just the idea of his fingers. Like, I'm sure he didn't regret it. I'm sure he's like, well, done the right thing. But there's probably a small percentage of himself thinking, I wish I hadn't have done it that way. You know, I'm not going to die.
Totally agree.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean,
even the fact that go ahead, Shane.
The fact that he had to take a life, but not just a life, someone, you know, he knows, and like the Flash is not just somebody, is he? Flash is like the heart of the Justice League, you know.
Yeah,
such a good person.
In the second panel there, so you see the Flash's arm just kind of falling down on its own.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it all the other body parts. I don't know if they're just chunks randomly, or do would that be an ear by any chance, or something to the left of the hand? Do you know what I mean? I couldn't.
No
No,
clue.
too big. No, it's just the idea that my hand is falling down. Like you wouldn't really see that normally, you know. But
yeah,
such
it's
a
just
great
mad.
page.
Yeah.
I'm going to check up on some comments again before they run away with me. Connie is saying, you want to know what I find really weird? The fact that they put Damien and John in graphic t-shirts with their dad's logos on it in issue 2. They're wearing Batman and Superman t-shirts. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, Lois always wears a Superman t-shirt, so it's not odd.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah.
I don't think I would wear a t-shirt with my daddy's logo on it, you know.
If your dad was Superman, you would.
What is your dad's logo?
My dad is Superman. And Connie saying her favorite page is the page with Nightwing and Batman, which I think that's the one you're referring to.
Great minds.
Yeah. And Blue Sonic was agreeing, but we're all saying that Green Arrow was great, and I think he was, because I think every character actually had their moments. Like everyone had their part to play, and Green Arrow definitely brought that kind of level of quippy kind of comedy to the book as well.
Like when they're camping, with Green Lantern and Dinah, and they're camping, and he's just being like snarky and sarcastic, and it was a great scene. And then all of a sudden, Green Lantern like gets a text or checks his emails, doesn't he? And that's it. It's just Black Canary versus Green Lantern all out.
And some more comments. Liam saying the two heroes to prolong their life after being infected are the same two heroes you'd expect to save the dead, no matter what. Batman and Supes. Yeah, 100%. I think that's why they had to kill them off, essentially.
Yeah.
If Batman doesn't die, this is a 4-issue miniseries. As Taylor says, you've got to sell more issues. Absolutely. And Dean has a question for Scott. Does this get marked down? The Flash doesn't have yellow boots. You're the Flash expert.
So I had a rant on Instagram the other day where the Flash TV show, they finally announced on season 8 that Flash is going to get the yellow boots. And I was like, why now? I mean, and then in this story, he doesn't have yellow boots. So Dean is just trying to maybe get a reaction out of me, and he's got it.
Chris is asking a good question here, actually. How did his fingers go into Superman? Thought he would be impregnable. I think even unpenetrable. That's the right word.
No, supersonic speed. The speed that they hit each other at.
Yeah, I did think
impenetrable.
Yeah, I mean, and they, he did say what happens when an immovable object comes up against a moving object, and the answer was they merge, and that's what happens. And they merged. Yeah.
We have Gerardo Bueno. Is that right?
Hello.
Saying hello. His best page was Cyborg looking through the Ganda's head. And that was almost one of my picks. Yeah, me too. That was great. That was a great page. So just before we move away entirely from the art,
because Superman stopped Wonder Woman from killing her, didn't he?
Yeah, because she was coming down with the big axe, was it, or sword? What was it?
The sword, yeah.
Yeah, and then he stopped because he believed there's still hope to save these people. So yeah. Before we move entirely away from the art, do you think we should mention the millions of covers there were for this series when there was
so many single issue? Yeah. I mean, they were great covers. I mean, you've got the awesome, the cover A's, and then you've got the fantastic movie homages, which I mentioned before we went live that I'm not really aware of, like 3 or 4 of them because I don't watch horror films. But then the actual, the faces ones, like the cover down here, you've got Batman, Superman, Joker. Was it you had Wonder Woman maybe, or Harley Quinn, and they all just look absolutely fantastic.
Oh yeah. I mean, me personally, I picked this up in single issues as well as I bought all the hardcovers, for this as well because I loved it that much. And the single issues I collected A, B, and C variants off it, and it made my pull list humongous every time the Dceased came out, to the point where I was almost dreading it. But the covers were just fantastic. It's not often you see zombie Batman or zombie Superman. It's just you had to get them. And the Francisco Mantina covers were fantastic.
Yeah. And
if you buy the hardcover, all the covers, or the horror covers and the face covers, they're all on the back of the book anyway. Chris has a bit of a critique. He says, sounds like rubbish to me. I want realism in my superhero zombie books. Don't we all?
Oh man.
And Dana's just saying he hopes they collect all the DC stuff in one collected edition or omnibus in the future. I will still buy that, even though I have all the singles and
That would be awesome.
All the hardcovers as well.
I mean, my plan is now I have this in paperback, so I'm going to collect the rest of them in paperback just to keep consistent. But even if they do bring a collected edition of all of them, I will probably pick it up.
Fantastic.
Definitely.
So what do we think then about the kind of overall kind of story and the writing style of Tom Taylor? Like we mentioned before, there's not a lot of world building to go on here. It just seems he's just had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, even though this story focuses on so many characters, this still felt like a Superman story for me. It felt very focused on Superman. Superman was he was the guy doing everything everywhere and really taking it like as serious as anyone ever could. But like that's not a bad thing. And I guess the book maybe had a focus on someone, and I enjoyed that it was focused on Superman. I thought it was very clever how he was dealing with the whole thing. The fact that as soon as he knew it was kind of was it social media based or visual based, he turned his X-ray vision on straight away. And I really liked that. And it was kind of clever writing from Tom Taylor. And I thought, it must have it must have he must really know the characters and their abilities and what they're capable of and their past and whatever and all this. And I really enjoyed it all. Tom Taylor is fantastic at relationships. In everything I've read, and he absolutely nails it, especially with Superman's family and how all these maybe less is not the right word, but the lesser characters, not the A team, the Justice League kind of thing, but all these less characters and how they interact with each other is absolutely fantastic. And he just knows all of these characters, and it's really impressive that he was able to include all of them and do them well in the book.
That's what I think too. Like every character seemed to have their moment. Like Dina, I forget her character name. Shane, you can remind me. Who's Dina?
The Green Canary.
That's it, the Black Canary. Yeah, but then she becomes Green Lantern. Because she obviously has to kill Hal Jordan because he's a zombie, and she becomes Green Lantern. That just looks fantastic as a Green Lantern. And I think her with Oliver, it's Oliver McQueen, isn't it? That's Shane.
Yes, it is.
So I think their kind of relationship with Hal Jordan at the campsite, and then obviously with the other heroes later on, I think they were really good in the book too. And they're not somebody I wouldn't really read their stuff before or anything like that. And then obviously John Kent and Damian Wayne have their moments as well, obviously with their fathers. But I think Tom Taylor does a tremendous job at really delivering those kind of emotions. Like I mentioned, the Alfred stuff, the fact that he's had to kill Batman, and then he feels so much sorrow because they're his sons, and they are his sons. You know what I mean? And
he helped raise them all, didn't he? Yeah. The story was.
I do think though that Tom Taylor has a grudge against Superman.
Oh, explain. Elaborate.
Go on.
Are you with us, Shane?
No. Shane is delayed.
If you're new to this show, you will know that there's always somebody, one of us, and it's usually me, has problems with their internet. Tonight it is Shane's turn. But just before if we do get him back, I'll need to catch up some comments here. So Comic Bound is here, saying hello, you gorgeous nerds.
Hey,
and Phil. Late to the party and couldn't read it along, but I hear good things about this run. Be meaning to check it out. Also, just kidding, Phil. You know I love you, of course. Who wouldn't? But yeah, you need to read this book, Adam, because it is fantastic.
Do it. Read it.
TB is saying, I was blown away by the amount of emotion Tom Taylor got out of each of the small stories. Each one felt real and not forced. 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, nothing felt rushed or out of place. It was all really well placed and really good.
Yeah. Connie is saying, I think the family and other relation aspects were my favorite thing in the book. Everyone had someone that felt like it was nice, but it also meant everyone had someone to lose. And they did. There was high stakes, not just in humanity level, but they all had their own people that they were worried about and could lose as well.
Yeah.
Doreto's and all the best stories for the series were told off page. Don't know if there were tie-ins, but they should have been awesome. This story does continue on other editions, and you do get into kind of more not side quests, but like there's other people involved later down the line.
There wasn't a tie-in as such, but there was one additional one-shot which we have read as well, and it's called A Good Day to Die.
Which we haven't talked about, but it is actually really, really good and really entertaining because it has Big Barda, Scott Free, and they're both fantastic together.
Yeah.
But it has John Constantine, who I haven't read that much, John Constantine, but when he's been included in stuff I have read, I think he's fantastic. I love the guy, and he's just an add to that book. It needed him, and I don't know. I can't remember if he plays a pivotal part later on down the line. He probably does.
Oh, no spoilers.
No spoilers. Yeah, sorry. And Dean's here just saying, I like how Tom Taylor kills all the main DC heroes and everyone love it. Then he changes one of their sexuality and the world goes mental. That's Tom Taylor. Everyone loves Tom Taylor. Shane, are you back with us? Are you here? Can you hear us? Kind of.
Am I moving? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep. You're sound good, man. Go ahead.
No.
I don't know. It's just I don't know what's wrong with my internet. Sorry, it might be the weather outside.
You just sit there and smile and look pretty, and then we'll just do all the talking. I feel that's all right. Yeah.
I think the cool thing that I enjoyed about this was the fact that it was such a simple premise, but Tom Taylor executed it and developed it very well. Throughout the 7 issues in total, we had, like we've said, we've had all these little pockets of characters that none of it felt rushed. It all felt organic and kind of integral to the story. And he just took this simple premise of what if some sort of, technological virus spread around the world, and it contains the anti-life equation from Apocalypse, and then go. And then that's what it is. But the way Tom just unraveled the story was brilliant.
Yeah. I think one of the main things for me, all of the killing on the main characters, is the fact that it's clear as day that if the main villains, the main heroes do get turned, then it's going to be the end of the world because no one's going to be able to stop them. And that's obviously why they built these 2 arcs, the two arcs.
Yeah.
Which I find really strange because, I mean, obviously they look really big and stuff. I think they hit, like, there was capacity for 7 million souls, which is...
Yeah. But they ended up only putting like 6.4 or something like that, or 6.6 on it. Yeah. So, and they did say they had to leave some people behind. They didn't have time because of, at this point, Superman had been turned and they had to go. I do have a question, though, because you've read on, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So, without like spoiling anything, does this continue on? Because Deceased Unkillables is next. So, but is that a continuation of Deceased, or is it a separate again?
It's obviously it's separate in that you're looking at whole different people. But for me, like, obviously this is a world thing, so it's obviously not just happening in Metropolis or Themyscira, it's happening all over the world. Mm-hmm. So we're obviously trying to get people elsewhere who maybe haven't been seen or couldn't get on the arcs and stuff. Deceased Unkillables for me is actually my personal favorite of the whole series, the whole Deceased series. You will cry, Scott. I'll say that. You will cry, definitely. Some people will cry. It's
can't wait.
Yeah, but it is separate, but also obviously continuation in a strange way. It's not until Dead Planet, which is the 3rd one, you get these main characters kind of back again.
Okay, cool, great.
Chris from Off My Shelves is saying the anti-life equation has to be the most abstract MacGuffin in comics history.
It's a very broad thing, isn't it? By the sounds of it. I mean, the only times I've ever experienced the anti-life equation is in this book and in the Justice League movies. Mm-hmm. That's it. But it seems like a very vague thing.
I think it is. Even like Darkseid, like Darkseid is. What does that mean? Darkseid is. Do you know what I mean? Like that's vague on its own. It doesn't need an explanation, I suppose. So I suppose the anti-life equation doesn't really have a full explanation of what's it mean, what's it do.
Yeah.
So here's Tom Taylor taking his ideas and running with it, I suppose.
His own MacGuffin on it. Yeah. Totally. Shane, how are we doing? You back? I think he's
Shane, we can hear you. So if you want to just start talking, and we'll just sit back and listen.
We'll just shut up.
Yeah.
I think there might be a bit of a time delay, though.
It's okay. Work with it.
Work with it. I was thinking while reading this, because like you say, it's a very heavy Superman story. I feel like Tom Taylor has a grudge against Superman for some reason. In Injustice, he destroys everything Superman loves. You know, he has Superman kill his wife and kill his unborn child, destroys his city, turns him into a bad guy. In this, he has Superman having to kill people over the world. Cool. You know, and now in comics, he's like destroyed his son. So like he Superman for some reason, and I don't know what Superman did to him. That's not to say I don't enjoy it. I really, really enjoy Tom Taylor when he has a universe to work with. When he's writing confined in a book, I can't stand his writing. Like when he has limitations, but give him a universe and I absolutely love him.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think Tom Taylor would be good on Batman, for example, as the sole Batman writer. I don't think he would do well with all the restrictions he has.
He has done it was Batman the Detective, wasn't it?
He's done the Dark Detective, I think it was called, and then he's done a few of the Batman annuals, which by the way, Scott, you should read that too, because you will cry there as well. It's very Alfred Central type of book, and it's really emotional and really good. But I don't think, like, I wouldn't, as a Batman fan, I don't think I'd be confident in Tom Taylor taking over the main Bat book. But like you're saying, like Shane's saying, give him this like kind of alternate universe by all means. And me and Scott, we're reading Dark Ages at Marvel.
Yeah,
and he seems to be given the same kind of free reign with that as well, to kill off as many kind of the big hitters as he wants, just for the benefit of the story. I just want to go back to Shane's point about Superman, and I've never read Injustice, so I can't comment on that. But I do think with Superman, like it's almost like it's all been written. Like, what else can you do with Superman? Like, there's a lot of people in the world think Superman's quite boring. So I'm wondering if Tom Taylor's purposely trying to like break him down a little bit and just kind of change him, but not in like a bad way, but to give him more possible storylines, more things he could write about Superman.
They're fantastic stories. I'm not saying they're not fantastic, but it does feel really personal with what he keeps doing to Superman.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor, for me, whenever Brian Michael Bendis left the main Superman book, Tom Taylor was one I wanted to take over. Obviously, he take over the Son of Kal-El book, which is great. But
Don't start.
But I wanted him on the main Superman books. I thought he would do fantastic stuff with them. But yeah. And Triple G Comics is saying here, let's be honest, they wanted to do DC Zombies like the Marvel book, and the Anti-Life was an easy get out. That's possible because Marvel Zombies was a big hit, wasn't it? People loved Marvel Zombies, and DC wanted a bit of that action. So, which is weird because now Marvel are in Dark Ages, which is somewhat similar without the zombies. Well, there's vampires, so
Yeah.
And Connie is saying, my only other experience of Tom Taylor's writing was Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is why I think he is excellent at emotion. Again, another book, Scott, I've told you multiple times, read issue 6.
Just buy it for me, right? Just buy it for me, right?
And Dina's, something that I was saying about not everything has been done with Superman. I'm still waiting for Superman sorts out Brexit comic. Yeah. I don't even think Superman could do that, to be honest.
No.
Adam, I'm not actually sure if I've read a single comic from Tom Taylor. Injustice was something I always thought I'd check out one day. Similar to this, he guesses. Right?
Mate, there's so many great Tom Taylor books. Just pick one. Pick one and then pick another one and then pick another one. Yeah, get this.
Excellent. So I think we're getting to that time, I think, are we? Let me just check my schedule here. Yeah, we're getting to the final thoughts and scores. Just remind folk that anyone who has read the book, who's in the chat tonight, if you've read along, you want to score the book, add your scores to hear on the chat. Once you work out your average, we're going to lump that in with our scores to work out the overall average score of the book, and we will see where it lands at the all-important leaderboard. This is my pick. This is the first phase of volume 2. I fully expect to take top spot. So make that dream a reality, folks. Help me out here. Okay.
We have already had one score from Glenn. He couldn't be here for the whole of the show, so he's already given us a 10 out of 10. So we'll say that now.
He loved
Excellent.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we start with Shane. Do you want to give your final thoughts and scores?
Yeah. I love this book. I read it weekly when it first came out. So reading it again, it was such a joy. But reading it like monthly, the shock and the having to wait, the anticipation, the seeing all the covers before they come out, I absolutely fell in love with everything. I mean, it's 6 issues, the first, like this book, but I have 40 covers. So it might just tell you how much I love this series. I fell in love with it. It's fantastic. The art's great. The story's compelling. There's emotion. There's heartfelt. There's gore. There's death. There's fighting. There's action. There's everything you want in a superhero comic book. It's got everything. I love it. I absolutely love it. So I don't have any negatives. If I had a negative, it would be I want more issues of this before it moved on to the next volume. I'd be happy with this as an ongoing series. Like, just have that universe going now. Do you know what I mean? Like, have it still going. I'd still be buying it. So for me, this is a 9.5. I love this. Absolutely loved it to bits.
Nice. Great. Scott?
I love Tom Taylor. I mean, he is definitely my favorite writer. Everything I've read, he has smashed it and has managed to get some sort of emotional response from me. He's taken this concept that's really simple and made it into this in-depth, emotional, fantastic ride that we see these characters go through, and it's just absolute hell for them. But for us, it's a delight to read. I loved seeing all of the big characters just go, and but having the suspense of when they would go, if they would go, and how they would go, who would turn them, and all this, and it was just bloody brilliant. There's loads of other stuff I wish we could have talked about in this, because I feel like it is one of those stories where we could do another hour easily on this. I loved it. Big fan. I don't know what to score it, man. I'm so stuck. I don't know how high to put it. Jeez. You know what? I'm going to go... It's going to be a 9, purely because there are more Deceased, and I believe Tom, this is the introduction to Tom's Deceased kind of world. So I believe when he's really comfortable with it, he can nail it even more. So I think that there's wiggle room there. So it's going to be a 9 from me.
Nice. That's quite high. That's good. So I'll go through some of the scores we have on our chat here. Okay. Before I give mine. So Triple G Comics. I'm a sucker for any Elseworld type book where big characters bite the dust. Love this. Strong 9 for him. Connie is going to say 7.5. Blue Sonic, I have to say, thought this was amazing. Easy 10 from me. And Tottenham Gaming. Is this a real score? He gave it a 5.
He did. We spoke tonight about it, and he's not happy with it.
He is blocked. That's fine. Liam is saying it's an 8 from him and a 9 from Beth. We know Beth does love her horror and her gore.
I knew I liked Beth better.
That's not a score. Sorry. I'd previously read the series and reread as I couldn't even remember it. 6 out of 10, pushed to 7.5 for the Matina covers. I'll take that. 7.5 it is. TB Coax, absolutely loved this. Read it in one sitting. It was exciting, emotional, suspenseful. Makes me feel like a kid. 9.5 for him. And off my shelves, I didn't read, so I'm going to score your on-screen nicknames this week. Shane gets an 8, extra point for the headgear. Scott gets a 7, and Phil gets a 7.5.
Oh, what?
No.
So, just for people in the listening on the podcasts, let's tell them what our screen names are.
Well, Shane with the highest score apparently is. Go ahead, Shane.
My name is Decapitation.
My name is Decade.
And I'm decomposed. Or decomposed. Sorry. So did I just score an extra half point because there's more letters in my in my name?
Maybe.
So there's
Yeah.
more effort put into mine,
Syllables.
possibly.
Yeah.
But we were all very proud of our names before we came live, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah. So Scott, you have those locked in, those scores?
All good.
That's good. So I'll go on with mine. There's not much to add to what everyone has said. I mean, realistically, this is a really simple story. Like zombie, movies and books and TV shows have been done to death. Pardon the pun. But, it wasn't that much of a pun, but whatever. I'll run with it. But it's just the fact that you have all the big hitters and they all bite the dust, as someone had said, but they all have emotional goodbyes. And the people who obviously are their people, you see the emotion in them, obviously with Lois Lane and Jonathan and with Damien and Alfred. And I just think it's a fantastic read, and it was exciting from start to finish. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's the best thing I've ever read, but I can't really score it down because on its own, this was fantastic. I am going to be picky because I need to pick at something, and the only thing I'm picking at are those few pages of the art that were a bit. Didn't put me off the time, but you definitely notice it. You're happy to read along, but you definitely see the art's different. And if they have added that in at a later stage, it would be nice to know that. Just kind of say it. Even in the back matter of the book or something, just kind of say it. Maybe they have, I haven't read it. So I'm not going to waffle on. It's a 9.5 from me. Lock it in.
Brilliant. Locked in.
Nice.
Okay, great. So you guys as an audience, we are now adding your average score to our scores. So all of you guys, you averaged out to 8.4. I gave it a 9, and Shane and Phil gave it a 9.5 each, which puts our score of Deceased to 9.1.
Wow.
Out of 10.
That's going to take some beating.
Third book of the year, and we've already got a 9.
Let's see where this falls on the leaderboard, shall we? Where's it going to go? Of course.
Surprise.
It takes top spot. The good 2 points, or close to 2 points ahead of Something That's Killing the Children. And let's be honest, 9.1 is an extremely high score. And I can't remember actually what was our highest score in the last season.
It was Kanto, and it was 9.6.
9.6. So there's potential that this could be beat. There's no question, but
yeah,
I'm very confident that this could see me to the end of this game as the overall champion. I'm confident enough.
It's good, man.
But we need to know what we're reading next week, and we just don't know. So, folks, in the comments, it's completely down to you. All right. So, drop your pick below or in the comments below for the herd's choice for next week. Okay. It doesn't have to be horror. We obviously are reading horror books at the minute. It's down to yourself. But if you want to put a horror book, do that by all means. All we ask is that it's not something too long or too short. We need something that's long enough for us to talk about, but also something that we can read in time for next week. All right. So put your picks down below, and let's see how it goes and what we get. And I think is there some special swag available for folks who we pick from the spinny wheel? What could that swag be?
Yes, sir.
Shall I go first?
Go ahead.
So we have made for the herd. So if your choice is chosen on the wheel, you will receive a Nerd Herd notebook, which has been handcrafted by yours truly. With
And designed by me.
Design? Yeah, you didn't let me finish. I was going to get to the design when I showed off your fancy bookmarks, Scott.
Okay,
so Scott,
okay,
you'll also get a bookmark to go with your notebook. Scott painstakingly, days and days it took him to design these. But yeah, so you've got Nerd Herd book. It has 52 pages in, so you can join along and write your notes inside.
Ooh.
And you can keep it bookmarked with your own personal bookmark. But that's not always it, Scott. What else is coming?
No, we have also designed. Let me just switch me round. So our great friend Bethany has her own business named Created by Cartwright, and she has amazingly created us some stickers of the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club logo. So you will also get one of these as well. So yes, you'll get the fantastic notebook, you'll get the bookmark, and you will get one of our awesome stickers.
Just whilst, like Scott had mentioned, he painstakingly designed the book, and Shane, of course, hand threaded those spirals into the book. I mean, I was still playing my part. I was very critical of the initial design. I had my input as well, you know. So it's not just these two guys; it's all three. It's a collective effort to produce something fantastic for ourselves as well as you guys in the herd.
So whoever wins this, will be the first person to get some official Nerd Herd merch.
First print.
Yeah,
first print.
And worth mentioning too, if your book is selected tonight for us to read next week, you will be, of course, invited onto the show. No pressure, of course, you don't have to, but there will be a spot here for you next week if you want to tag along. I think are we starting to slow down on our choices? Shall we just go ahead with what we have? Give it a minute.
Still writing.
We'll just go through here. Okay. Make sure I don't miss anybody. So Chris has selected.
Has he though, or is he saying Canto 2 will be seeing the list soon? I don't think he's chosen
Chris
Canto
picks
2.
Akira further down.
Well, he says Akira. I mean, all of it, you know.
In a week.
So Tottenham Gaming is picking Amazing Spider-Man Back in Black.
Yep.
Triple G Comics is picking The Silver Coin, which I think is new. So it'll be the first volume of that, I would imagine. Comic Bound is WE3, which I know he's picked quite a few times. Dean has got Did You Hear What Eddie Gain Did? Which I actually picked up. It's on some shelf ready to go.
Nice.
Connie is saying Witches. Again, I'm assuming volume 1. And Chris from off my shelves. Akira, volume 1, I'm assuming. There's no particular story. And TB collects Harrow County, which I think is Colin Bunn, isn't it?
Oh.
Is it Colin Bunn?
No.
Listen, Shane, if it's picked, we're going to have to read it.
I've already read it.
Oh, okay. Well, we like bad books too. And best choice is surprise, self-storage. You know, she's picked that quite a few times.
Yeah,
that's the one. No need for the wheel. We'll just read that.
Yeah. No, we've got another one here. Jack Talks Comics has put in Sarah from TKO. I know what book I have. Still in the wrap. Haven't read it yet though. I think that's all our choices. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Right. Let me just get this to sharing. Don't put it on yet.
Just to say that Jaredo actually wants a notepad. So if you're
better suggest a book, mate.
Yeah, if your book gets picked, you can get a notepad.
Right, we are ready to share.
Liam saying I've missed him. Sorry, who is Liam? What was Liam's choice?
Oh,
there's nothing here, Liam.
Yeah, Lee, there isn't a choice, mate. Missed you.
I'll give you 10 seconds. Is it too late to add something in?
No, it's fine. Highland G also adds in self-storage.
So I got 2 slots then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, Liam. We're seconds here.
Come on, Liam. Put self-storage on a third time.
So.
Come on.
So yeah, it's going to be cool. You know, hopefully we will get a book that is horror-based, but there are some here. So Lee.
All right, expect Marvel Zombies. There we go. Volume 1.
Marvel Zombies.
That'd be a good contrast to Deceased, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right. I don't think I'll rival Dceased though, so we're okay. I'll take
is it. Right. Here we go, everyone. Good luck.
Oh.
Wait. Connie has won. Oh, I spelled her name wrong. Connie Delathon with Witches. There we go. So that is going to be our pick. That is what we'll be reading next week.
Yeah. So, Connie, we will be in touch to get the address where to deliver your swag to. So we'll get in touch through Instagram. But yeah, that we are reading Witches next week. I think. Am I right? Is that Scott Snyder? Is that Scott Snyder?
I don't know.
No, we'll find out next week. That's what we're reading next week. Excellent. Well done, Connie. Okay, well that brings an end to another fantastic show, and I'm of course delighted because I did take top spot off the leaderboard, and I reckon I will stay there for quite a long time.
I reckon you will.
Yeah,
yeah.
But before we go, we'll just do a bit of a roundup, see what's coming up on our channels.
Okay.
Shane, what have you got coming up?
Well, I have the quiz. This month's quiz, Dawn of Comics Quiz Night 13, Trick and Treat. I haven't decided on an air date yet, as I'm away this weekend, so I can't really do it until next week sometime. So if it's not out before next Wednesday, I will let everyone know next Wednesday when it is out.
And Scott, anything come up on you?
So nothing coming up this week, but we are very close to Comic Airwaves, the October episode 9, entitled Treats All Round. This time it'll be on a Friday because it's my birthday the day after, and I don't want to do a show on my birthday. So it's
so
going to be
unprofessional.
It's going to be on the Friday at 9 p.m, not the usual 8:30, because it's going to be Triple G's first show of his brand new show, which is going to be really cool. It's starting at 7:30, so we've worked to kind of not overlap each other. So it's going to be awesome. So check out his show, and then come on over to Comic Airwaves after that next Friday. So that's the 29th at 9 p.m.
Excellent.
Looking forward to that.
And you'll be surprised to hear that I have nothing planned on my channel for this week. I know, but I am playing my part on the quiz. The most important part, and on our wave. So I am out there on the internet. I did have a check today though that my channel's sitting at 295 subs. So if you're not subbed, give me a wee sub to hit that nice 300 number. That would be quite nice for me. I mean, my ego's big enough as it is. But yeah. So folks, that's us. That's another week of the Nerd Herd Comic Book Club. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks everyone for listening to the podcast or watching the rewind after. We're gonna go home, we are home. We're gonna go now, go to bed, go sleep.
This is my
ready
house.
for Witches. We get ready for Witches next week. There's one last thing we have to do that's on my schedule here, and it's simple, like this book. Get your waves out.